Okay, hey everyone. This video is a basic tutorial on creating your first pipeline with Snaplogic. They do have some tutorials online, some videos. The documentation is there are some good explanations for certain concepts, but like all things, it could be better. Um, so I just invite you to check out Snaplogic documentation. If there is anything that you find trouble or have trouble working through when you're building your pipelines. Uh, Snaplogic, as you know, is middleware used by companies to move data from one location to the next. Um, it can be done for on-premise applications, cloud platforms, business networks, etc. The objective of this video is to create your first pipeline, log in, create the pipeline, upload some data from Excel, or you can upload it from any source really. Map that data to a new sheet, perform a calculation, validate the pipeline, and then run the pipeline. So let's get started. So first, in SnapLogic, you would log in, John Doe, John Doe's, whatever your name might be, and your password. And once you've logged in, you get directed to the designer area. This is designer area. So I'm going to create a new pipeline. I'm going to call this demo first pipeline, and we're going to leave all of these values as default. So for the new first pipeline, I have a file here in Excel um, that is my monthly budget, let's say. So it has items like food, clothing, housing, etc. So I have how much I budgeted, and then I have how much I spent. So it's good information, but maybe I want to add something in here. I want to know the difference or maybe the actual. So one of the powerful features of SnapLogic is that you can do this for much bigger data sets than this, and you can easily transform, map the data, and shift it or ship it off to another place. But we'll keep it simple. So first I'm going to read that file because you do have to create file object. And in this case, I already saved it within my SnapLogic um, folder setup. But so I'll reach for it here. What's it called? My name of the file. What's the name of the file? My monthly budgets. Mhm. There you go. And save that. So once that's been saved, we're going to need to be able to read that file, to parse that file, so it's converted into JSON format for further formatting. So I'm going to use the Excel parser. If it was a CSV, I would use a CSV parser, etc. So one of the cool features of SnapLogic is it validates your code as you work, so you know whether you're on the right track or wrong, and you get feedback early o'clock. So that initial file that I uploaded is stored as a binary, but now because of the Excel parser, voila, here it is. Okay, so I can preview the file as a table. I can view it in JSON, and now I'm gonna make some small changes to that file. So one of the cool features as well of SnapLogic is the predictive um, predictive snaps. So they predict that I'm gonna map um, this file that I've just parsed, and that's exactly what I was gonna do. So I'm gonna choose all three of those columns that were there. Um, Actually, let me do a shortcut. This is really important when you have big files. Oops. Let's go back. Yeah, this is really annoying, by the way. So I can shift, fill naked. shift right there. So we have A, B, and C. And the first I'm gonna name like before. What was it called? Item. So item budget spending. So this is item. This is budget. This is spending. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna add one more field, and this field is gonna be called let's say description or advice. Let's say I wanted to give myself advice based on my spending. And I would go to the shortcut to the expression input area. I'm not sure what the fancy word for it is. And we can build an expression to do some calculations based on our requirements. So in this use case, I would like to make a simple calculation based on how much I've spent versus how much I budgeted, and I would like to give myself some advice based on that. So the first column, if you remember, was the first numerical column was B, so this is budget spending, so B minus C. That's what I'm going to go with. So B minus C. What do we have here? Okay, well, the first column is a header, so I forgot to start one row higher, but the rest of them calculate correctly. So B minus C. If B minus C is less than 0, if my budget is less than how much I spent, let's say I tell myself, and this is the conditional operator for Snaplogic, let's say tighten up, buddy. Uh-huh. And if not, if I've spent less than I budgeted for, yay, well done. Okay. So now, what's going to happen is this text will be generated based on the calculation made in the first two columns. And I think that's pretty simple. So I like that aspect of Snaplogic. You can make easy transformations to columns or fields and data sets. Okay, so I have my expression sorted out here, but I don't want to start at the first row. So let me close and let me make a change here. I want to start on the third row. I'd like to start on the third row. So first row, second row, third row. This is where the calculations begin. So we're going to start on the third row, and I'll save. And then I'm going to validate, make sure that the code I've implemented so far is functioning correctly. Green is good, all right? So next, I'm going to write this to another Excel file. Not too exciting, but I'm going to write this to another Excel file. And the settings in here are default. I mean, the question is, do you want the headers? I do want the headers. Convert numeric string to number, not necessary. So we close here. And then finally, as a predictive snap shows up, file writer. I want to write this to a file. So this file is going to be called, let's say, myfinances.xlsx. Okay, all settings here stay default. I'm going to save that. And this V is for validating, and then when you feel like the code you've implemented, the snaps are all functioning correctly, this is where you execute the pipeline. And this is the moment of truth. So we look at the pipeline if there have been any errors. And voila, okay, so we have a successful pipeline, no errors. So I would go to the manager to show the file or download the file, but I've already downloaded it here. Oh, and this is a wrong one actually, so it's good. You get to see where I have to go. Let's try to be quick about it. My finances. Okay, let's minimize this. And on my downloads, you should have a listing of the new pipeline and its data. So there you go. Piece of cake. Yay, well done. Tighten up, buddy. Yeah, I spent too much on clothing. And yeah, that's it. So hope you guys have a great day. Remember, this video was about creating your first pipeline, and I'll do a few more just to help you learn more about Snaplogic.